All right, good morning, traders. Today is February 26, 2026. My name is Coach Carignan. I'm the lead instructor here at the BYOB Trading Room. That is the day trading division of the Hit and Run Candlesticks family. I want to thank everybody out there in podcast land, digital land, cyberland. Thank you so much for following, liking, and subscribing to my content. I appreciate that. Thank you for the kind words. Special shout out Bob Jordan, John Jordan, Kathy, Sarah Roasted for sharing the content. Really love that. Helping get the good word out there to the World Wide Web. All right, let's take a look at the markets this morning. I think I got an announcement, and we have open house in the BYOB room, trading room, all right, in the BYOB trading room right here. And that is Monday and Tuesday coming up. All right, so if this is your first time seeing this, this is a QR code. You scan it with your smartphone camera. It'll give you a little pop-up. You press the pop-up, opens up a tab in your smartphone browser. All right, and in that browser, you just fill out the registration form, and it will send you credentials to your email. All you have to do is check your spam folder and check your regular main mailbox for those credentials to get in on Monday and Tuesday. Thank you so much. All right. So appreciate it. Everyone's invited to come to our open house on Monday and Tuesday. Again, there's the QR code. Scan it with your smartphone camera. All right. So my SPY pivot this morning, 690. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. Diamond down. I think everybody made higher low and a higher high yesterday. Just want to point that out right away. Diamond down, higher high, higher low, closing over bearish trap and over the 17. SPY IWM QQQ. Higher lows, higher highs, closing over bullish crosses and over their 17 EMAs. FNGU, higher low, higher high, closing over bearish trap, but under the falling 17. SPY closed with a 2-hour uptrend and 10-minute bullish consolidation. Silver, higher low, higher high, closing over a bullish trap over the 17 EMA. Gold made a higher high and a higher low, closing over a bullish trap over the 17. USO in a daily uptrend, made a lower high and a lower low, closing inside a bullish trap over the 17. UNG still in a downtrend, made a higher low and a higher high, closing under a bearish trap still, even with the higher low and the higher high, still closed under the bearish trap and under the falling 17. US dollar index still in a daily uptrend, closed near the 97.59 area. SPY max pain for today supposedly is 685 if they don't change it. Put to call ratio for those SPY options that expired today is 1.1 put for each call that expires today. Remember, those index options expire at 4:15. Security options expire at 4. If this is your first time seeing this page, these over here in the bulls column are all in daily uptrends over the daily 17 EMA. These are all in daily downtrends under the 17 EMA. They got a little star. They're building out a bull flag. I call it a launch pad from which to launch higher. If they got a little star on this side, they're building out a platform, or otherwise known as a bear flag, from which to dive lower. Okay, so over the 17, under the 17. Let's take a look at the markets this morning. We're going to do a top-down approach today. We're going to start off like I would look for a stock. I would start at the top and look at the monthly chart, and I would see to make sure that it is bullish. You can see SPY here is bullish on the monthly chart. We'll add the quad lines to it. Okay, and you can see here's the origin of our move right here on April. You can see price goes up and holds the higher ground. That is a bullish environment on the monthly chart. This is bullish and in an up and in an uptrend. You can see clearly the sticks and the 3, which is that yellow thin line, are riding up over the white line. That's the 8 EMA. Okay, so sticks in the 3 is bullish, still in an uptrend on the monthly chart. Now we go to the weekly chart. All right, and you can see the origin of our move, April, and price goes up, and we make a little low right here, but we don't take it out. We have not made a lower low since that low. So price moves up and basically is moving to the right up here. Not moving up anymore. It's just moving over to the right for the last, well, we'll call it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 weeks right here. 10 weeks just kind of moving to the right. Up here at the top of quadrant 4, that makes that bullish and in an uptrend right there on the weekly chart. Let's take a look at the daily candles. Okay, so again, remember price moves up and over to the right. On the daily candles, it's a little bit different story. Okay, but the news is still good. Higher low, higher high, closing. See the 3 crossing over the 8, over a bullish cross. Over, see the pink line? That's the all-time high anchored VWAP. See the gold line? That's our uptrend line, above the uptrend line. Over the all-time high anchored VWAP. You can see we're at the top of quadrant 4. Okay? But here's the skinny. All right? There's a low. We made right there a lower low. So we're in a downtrend. All right? Until we make a higher high. Okay? So downtrend until we make a higher high. Here's the good news. They're not moving down. Okay? They're moving up. All right? So there's the good news there. So again, we're in a downtrend that's not working. All right? So we find this is probably second or third time we find that. Here we got a downtrend, obviously lower than this low. Notice, failed to work. Another one right here, lower low. Again, failed to work right there. Okay, see that? So we got another downtrend that's not working, all right? So it's just moving over to the right or up. So there's SPY on the daily chart. You can see that is bullish, technically still in a downtrend, okay? But in a downtrend, but not moving down, and bullish because it's in the upper third. So we do the 2-hour chart. Nice candles here on the 2-hour chart. You can see the 3 EMA, right? And the candlesticks riding over the 8. Lots of space there. That's nice to have. We got resistance up here, 695, 694.50. Okay, so there's SPY on the 2-hour chart. That would be bullish right there because you got the sticks and the 3 riding up over the 8. So bullish and then an uptrend on the 2-hour chart. On the 10-minute chart, not really an uptrend, not really a downtrend. You can see there is space here, so you got like a weak 3-candle uptrend, if you want to call it that. Let's just call it bullish consolidation into the close right there. You can see we've got some consolidation here, and you can see we've got consolidation over some prior consolidation right here, and we've even got some more, all right, over consolidation right through here. All right, so that's bullish. Whenever you see that, price moves up, holds the higher ground. Price moves up, holds the higher ground. Okay, you can see price action on the 10-minute chart. All right, I'm calling it bullish consolidation, but not quite an uptrend or a downtrend right there. So, and you can see price up over the pink line. That's the all-time high anchored VWAP. You can see the gold line right here shoots through from this side over to this side. That's the uptrend line. So I'm going to take these off if I can find there it is. Move those out of the way. I'll leave those on in case we put on the pre-market. All right, so there's SPY. Let's take a look at the game plan. All right, here's a game plan on the 15-minute. All right, we've got, let's zoom out. Zoom over. Zoom back in. Okay, you get green erases red over 693.70. We've got the pivot, 690. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. Red erases green. Below, 686.45. Okay, we have observed support at 680.50, 680.20. Okay, and we have resistance, okay, up here at 694.45, that area. So you can see right now we're at 693.54. So we're about less than $1 away from that resistance that's overhead. So it'd be nice to see us get on top of that resistance and hold that higher ground. So here is the breakdown candle high. All right, which probably that will be the target for today. 695.35. Okay, that's going to be the target for today. If we get above that, we're going for the all-time high, which is 697.14. Okay, so that's the target for today. All-time high, not the all-time high. Right here, 695.35. That's the breakdown candle high. We have not hit that yet. All right, so there's the game plan. I trade Friday options on the multiple of 5. Today, because it's Thursday, there'll be 1 DTE and 8 DTE options. All right, I trade that because there's a lot of open interest. All right, that open interest usually equates to tight bid-ask spread. I don't like to pay more than a couple pennies over the bid for my contracts. I like strikes that are $2 to $15 out of the money. I don't get the performance that in the money contract gets, but I'm going to be putting out less risk. That's just my preference. If your preference is to be in the money, that's fine with me. Just keep in mind that we're in volatility right now. If you do get some candles, make sure you have your stops in so that you don't take a really hard crash 10 points down. All right, so I like 10-minute uptrends over VWAP. I like 10-minute downtrends under VWAP. My favorite trade is the 10-minute uptrend that resides inside the 2-hour uptrend, that resides inside the daily uptrend, that resides inside weekly uptrend and monthly uptrend as well. Okay, so today, over the all-time high anchored VWAP. Now, I mentioned this yesterday. That was my favorite trade, and I would be taking it because we had a 10-minute uptrend. You can see here the sticks and the 3 riding over the 8 EMA. So we had a 10-minute uptrend yesterday. I told you there's a good chance I'm going to trade this. So we have, you can see the 3 and the 8 all riding up over the 18. Bullish gap up. The bears never even pulled back at all today. They pulled back once right here to the pivot, and then they bounced up higher. So there's SPY on the 10-minute. That's bullish, and then an uptrend right there. Bullish consolidation into the end of the day. All right, let's take a look at QQQ. QQQ's got a game plan as well. And let's see if we can find QQQ's game plan. Here we are. All right, so green erases red over 616.85 pivot, 610.50. Red erases green underneath 607. I like same thing on QQQ. I like Friday options on the multiple of 5, specifically for the open interest. Now, I'm not afraid QQQ or SPY trade 0 DTE contracts, okay? Just bear in mind you're going to have decay that occurs all day long. All right, so as soon as price stops ascending, you will start experiencing decay, sometimes even while it's descending. Sometimes it doesn't ascend fast enough to overcome the decay that's happening to the underlying option. All right, so be aware of that. That sometimes happens as well. All right, so again, I like the 1 DTE and the 8 DTE Friday options on the multiple of 5, specifically for the open interest. I like strikes $2 to $15 out of the money because I like them cheaper. All right, my sweet spot for me is 30 cents on up to $1.20. For me, that's a defendable position. For me, I like to get more than 1 or 2 contracts. I trade 10-minute up, same thing. I trade 10-minute uptrends over VWAP. I trade 10-minute downtrends under VWAP. All right, so again, on the risk, on the strikes, see, I don't have a lot to risk. So I use, this is my trading account value at the end of the day yesterday. My max risk is always 10%. That's what I'm going to put at risk. 5,460. That's 10% of this. My daily goal is 1%, 546. Okay, yesterday made 3 daily goals. So my daily goal today, 546. We'll see what happens. Price action's looking good. This morning, the only thing that I'm concerned about is we do have overhead resistance, like I said, for SPY. Okay, on SPY's right up here at 694, 694.50. So again, my target's going to be that 695.35, which happens to be this breakdown candle high right up there. All right, so that's SPY. Let's go back to QQQ. All right, QQQ on the 10-minute chart. Again, you got bullish consolidation. Not quite an uptrend, not quite a downtrend, just bullish consolidation on QQQ 10 minutes. So that's bullish. 2 hour is, you can see here the sticks and the 3 riding up over the 8. All right, so that's bullish right there. 2 hour uptrend for me right there, and up over this all-time high anchor VWAP. Again, that's nicely bullish. And on the daily candle, we got a higher low and a higher high, closing over a bullish cross and over the 17 EMA and over the all-time high anchor VWAP. So we're up here in the middle of quadrant 4, so that's bullish. All right, and we have a low. We made a lower low right here. There's a low. We made a lower low. So now we're in a downtrend currently until we make a higher high. So we've got a little high that pokes through right here. All right, so taking out this high right here at 617.52. Take out that high, and we have ourselves a new uptrend that has manifested on the QQQ. All right, right now it's still in a downtrend. Still in a downtrend here. All right, because we got the low and we haven't made a higher high yet. But bullish, because we're still in, you can see the April origin of the move right here. We're still in the upper third, so that's bullish. Weekly candle, you can see still bullish, still in the upper third. If we took out this low, we'd have a downtrend. All right, on the monthly candle, we've got bullishness and in the upper third, right up here. Okay, so there's QQQ. Let's take a look at IWM. And we'll look at that on the daily chart. And you can see higher low, higher high closing over the pink line. That's the all-time high anchored VWAP. Closing over a bullish cross. Closing over, see the dots over the 17 EMA. Near the top of quadrant 4, right there. But we've got price action here. It's IWM. This is not in a downtrend because we haven't made any lower lows. So this is bullish and in an uptrend on IWM. Diamond Dow. And Diamond Dow has a low right here, and they made a lower low, so they're in a downtrend until they make a higher high. They are under the all-time high anchored VWAP. Yesterday's candle's a higher low and a higher high, closing over a bearish trap and closing over the falling 17 EMA. So we'll find out whether they can make the cut and do some work for us today. We'll find out. So that is diamond down on the daily chart. Let's take a look at Stinker, FNGU. All right, Stinker got a higher low and a higher high, closing over bearish trap, but still under that falling 17, still under this all-time high anchored VWAP. That's the pink line. That purple line, that represents all-time low anchored VWAP. And you can see price action. This would be the all-time low, and this is the all-time high right here, made in the end of October. Yeah, the end of October is the all-time high. Therefore, FNGU. You can see it's not in the lower third, so it's still neutral. So neutral, still in a downtrend till they make a higher high. So there's Stinker there on the daily candle. Let's take a look at technicals, actually. Let's go look at silver and gold. Silver, higher low, higher high, closing over a bullish trap over the 17 EMA. That is bullish up there in the upper third. Okay, so that's bullish. And they're still in a downtrend until they take out a lower high. All right, but right now they're having struggles with. So there is silver is in a downtrend, but bullish because it's now in the upper third. Let's take a look at GLD. GLD has got a higher low and a higher high, closing just over a bullish trap, over the all-time high anchored VWAP, over the 17 EMA, in the middle of quadrant 4. That is still in an uptrend. That's bullish and in an uptrend. Silver was in a downtrend that's not moving down, all right, but also bullish because it's in the upper third. It just squeaked in there. So there's gold and silver. Let's take a look at USO. USO, lower high, lower low, closing inside of a bearish trap, but over the rising 17, over this, that's a 4-year high anchored VWAP. This is in the top of this is in quadrant 4, so that makes it bullish. All right, so that's USO. So that's bullish. You can see lower high, lower low, closing inside of a bullish trap over the rising 17, over the 4-year high anchored VWAP, top of in the middle of quadrant 4. I'll zoom out. Okay, so here's our quad lines. That's the low. That would be the high rate right there. Okay, so we're in quadrant 4, so that's bullish and in an uptrend. You can see here's a low. They made a higher low. There's another low, and you can see that one's higher. They have yet to make a lower high or a lower low. All right, so they're still bullish and in an uptrend on USO. UNG, this is an easy one. Higher low, higher high, closing inside the falling bearish trap, underneath the falling 17, underneath the 12-month high anchored VWAP. That's the pink line. They're not in the upper third. They were at one time, but then they gave it up. So price there for UNG is it's in the bottom third, so it's definitely going to be bearish. And currently it keeps making lower lows, so it's currently bearish and in a downtrend on UNG. Take a look at the technicals, T2101. Market participation is kind of melting off. Don't like that as the bulls are stepping in, so keep an eye on that. Losing more and more participation day by day. That's T2101. T2122. I expect it to be in the buy zone or the overbought zone instead. We came down here in the seller's chop zone, popped a higher low right there, and then from there we went on and we did not make the higher high. We came close. All right, so there's 50 15-minute chart of T2122. Again, a higher low, spending the rest of the day camping out into the close in the buyer's chop zone. I expect to get in the buy zone or the overbought zone maybe today, maybe tomorrow. We'll see. They continue to surprise me with these lower lows down here. Finally, we got a higher low right here. So there's T2122, T2123. We've got, this is the all-time high right there. And we left off, we were in a downtrend. And you can see this is the high. Is that the high from yesterday or today? Yeah, no, that's the high from, yeah, that's yesterday's high. So here was a high. They made a higher high. That put them in an uptrend, unless, of course, price could make a lower low. So there's a low. They failed here. They failed there. So we're currently in an uptrend. We're up over the rising 200 SMA. So we're bullish and in an uptrend on T2123. Take a look at the 3-bar chart. You can see price action. Here is the origin of the rally. It's a 3-bar chart. So here is the April low. And you can see as price rallies up. This was the all-time high. Price rallies up and makes a new all-time high. And from there, pinches off and creates another new thing that crests another new all-time high right up here, up over this rising 200 SMA. So we got data up here at the top of quadrant 4 that's bullish and in an uptrend there on T2123. That's the cumulative 4-week new high, new low ratio. All right, let's take a look at FNGU or stinker on the 15. We got a low. We were in a downtrend. We got a high right here. Well, yesterday we made a bullish gap up and made a higher high. So we're in an uptrend all day on FNGU 15-minute. I like that it's up over the falling 200 SMA. Hopefully they can consolidate some more. And if not, maybe give us a push or a lift, all right, into the close, all right. So there is FNGU on the 15-minute chart. All right, let's take a look at our U.S. dollar index. Here is the 2025 high. Come down, produce a bear flag. See how price comes down and then over to the right. You can see it's underneath the red line. This is the falling 200 SMA. And price action for yesterday was a lower high and a lower low closing. I'm gonna say closing over that flat 17 EMA. So there's a high. They made a higher high right here. So they're in an uptrend, but here's the skinny. They're not moving up. So there's the U.S. dollar index. So this may roll over. We'll see what happens. Didn't roll over yesterday. Maybe today. We'll find out. All right, let's take a look at what do we want to look at? The economic package, and then we look at how we're going to trade SPY. All right, on the economic package, max pain is, let me refresh this. It's supposed to be 6. All right, so max pain is not 685. Max pain is 691. And the put to call ratio, I said they changed this sometimes on me. And the put to call ratio is 1.5 puts for each call that expires today. So should be interesting. We'll see what happens. On the economic data for today, we've got we have a jobless claims comes out at 8:30. We got a delayed report, so business inventories, they're going to come out at 8:30 as well with the jobless claims. Another delayed report, wholesale inventories, that's a delayed report. That's also coming out at 8:30. Then we got a gas report at 10:30. Tomorrow, we've got international trade in goods, all right, coming out at 8:30. That's a delayed report as well. You got PPI final demand coming out at 8:30 also tomorrow. And then we've got Chicago PMI at 9:45. We got construction spending. That's a delayed report coming out tomorrow. And then we've also got construction spending. That's what it is, construction spending. And that's going to come out that's a delayed report. That's going to come out at 9:55. So 10 minutes after the Chicago PMI. No, actually over the delayed report for construction spending. So we got two different construction spending. We got one at 9:55 and we've got one at 10 o'clock. All right, one is a delayed report, and then the other one is the real one that's coming out at 10, pretty sure that's 10. Yeah, 10 a.m. tomorrow. All right, so let's take a look at the earnings. NVIDIA reported last night. I don't know that it was bad or good. The market didn't sell off, so I'm gonna just take a guess that it's probably good. All right, and you can see they had $4.6 trillion of market cap. Let's look at today's. Of course, all eyes on NVIDIA. They are the tip of the spear when it comes to the AI boom, not the bubble yet, but just the boom. All right, so this is Thursday, February 26th. A lot of Canadian banks reporting today. All right, then we got Intuit after the close. All right, 105 billion. A lot of Canadian banks, 2,041 or 241 billion, 165 billion, and then we've got Canadian Imperial Bank comes out tomorrow evening. That is. That happens at this evening. Intuit reports this evening. Friday, Berkshire's going to report. Okay, that's $2 trillion right there. All right, but again, remember, all eyes still going to be watching NVIDIA because that is the AI bubble that we're currently in. We got some other familiar names, but nothing here that's going to move the markets. All right, let's take a look at the pre-market, see what we got going on there, see how we can probably see how we want to trade it this morning. Let's take a look at SPY. And you can see we're up over the green erases red. So if we got this 10-minute uptrend is still working, I just want to jump in on a big green candle or green erases red. So right here, this would be a great place to jump in. Keep in mind you've got resistance overhead. The target is 695.35. For there's a mosque over there with a beacon of. Okay. All right, so that is SPY. So I'm looking at this. I want to trade a continuation of the 10-minute uptrend. That's the plan for this morning. All right, but I will box off this line right here. So below this right here, I'm going to have to be a bear. And, of course, over this line right here, that high, I'm going to have to be a bull. But I'm probably going to be a bull anyway, being since you can see here that it is bullish. It's currently bullish on that 10-minute chart. So up over here, I want to be a bull. Underneath this, I want to be a bear. Keep in mind we've got resistance up here, 694.50, and then we've got support down here around 690 area, right there, around the 690 area. There's some support. So if you want to get short underneath this, be careful. There is support observed at 690. So prepare to get stuffed if you trade this to the downside. All right, that's it for me for today, this morning. I will see you all in about 45 minutes and we will open up the markets. Thank you, traders.